Hey everyone, welcome back. One of the things I think we all care about is setting our kids up for success,
Yeah.
right? And that definitely includes being smart with money.
Oh, absolutely. It's something we all think about.
So today we're going to dive into some fascinating research about how teaching kids about finances can really shape how they make decisions, not just about money, but about all kinds of things.
It's pretty amazing how it all connects.
It really is. And I have to admit, thinking back to my own childhood, I wasn't always the best at managing my allowance. How about you? Were you a natural saver?
Oh gosh, definitely not. I was much more of a spend it all on candy kind of kid.
Yeah.
I bet a lot of our listeners can relate to that.
I bet so too. But hey, maybe that's why we're doing this deep dive, to learn from the experts and hopefully help our kids make better choices than we did.
Exactly. And what I find so interesting is that this isn't just about teaching kids how to count coins or balance a checkbook. The research actually shows that early financial education is about giving them a whole framework for making good decisions that will benefit them throughout their lives.
Okay, so let's break that down a bit. One of the things that really stood out to me in the research was the idea of teaching kids about the consequences of their financial choices.
Right, like understanding things like budgeting, saving, and even the concept of interest.
Yeah, I remember when I finally understood how interest worked. It was like a light bulb went off.
Me too. And it's not about, trying to scare kids with debt or anything like that, but really empowering them to make informed decisions, knowing that their choices today can really impact what happens down the road.
So it's kind of like giving them a crystal ball so they can see how their choices play out over time.
Exactly.
Right.
Like imagine you're explaining to a child, if they spend their allowance on candy today, it might mean they won't be able to get that awesome robot toy they've been saving up for.
Oh, that's such a classic childhood dilemma, isn't it? Candy now versus that big awesome toy later.
Right. And this idea of delayed gratification is so crucial. The research shows that kids who understand this early on are much more likely to make sound financial decisions as adults. But it's not just about waiting for a bigger reward. It's also about understanding that, saving consistently, especially when you factor in things like compound interest.
Compound interest, yes. I wish somebody had explained that to me when I was a kid.
Right. It can really make your money grow over time. It's almost like magic.
So it's not just about, like, memorizing facts about money. It's about helping them connect those facts to real-world situations.
Absolutely. And that brings us to what I think is one of the most important things we can teach kids: how to evaluate their options.
So, like, being able to size up different financial choices and figure out which one is actually the smartest.
Exactly. Imagine giving your child the ability to really look at all the angles and make the decision that's best for them.
That does sound like a superpower.
Yeah.
But honestly, I used to think that finding the cheapest option was always the best way to go.
It's funny you say that because a lot of people think that, but it's not always the case. It's actually more about understanding the value of something. Sometimes, spending a little bit more on something that's really high quality and will last a long time can actually save you money in the long run.
Oh, that's so true. I've definitely learned that the hard way with, like, cheap shoes that fall apart after a few months.
Exactly. Or think about, those buy one, get one free deals. They sound great, but they're only a good value if you actually need both of those items. And a lot of times we end up buying things we don't really need just because they seem like a good deal.
That's me. I am so guilty of that. But what you said about understanding value, that's such a key point, and I can see how involving kids in everyday financial decisions would be a great way to teach them that.
Absolutely. Real life situations are like mini boot camps for learning about money. Think about like going grocery shopping. You could set a budget with your kids and then let them help you choose items to stay within that limit. Or when you're planning a family vacation, you can have them compare prices for different activities and make choices that align with your overall budget.
Those are fantastic ideas. It turns those everyday things, which can sometimes be a bit boring, into a fun learning experience. And the research actually shows that involving kids in these decisions can make things less stressful for everyone involved.
Exactly. It becomes more of a family affair and less of a power struggle.
So we've talked about the importance of teaching kids about consequences, evaluating options, and getting them involved in real-life situations. But what about goal setting? How does that fit into all of this?
Goal setting. That's where things get really exciting because it connects back to you, our listener, and all the amazing aspirations you have for your kids. We all have dreams, right? Whether it's a dream vacation, a new car, or saving for college.
I think we've all got those big dreams tucked away somewhere.
Exactly. And teaching kids about finances is like giving them a roadmap to reach those goals.
A roadmap to turn those dreams into reality. I love that.
Right. When they understand things like saving, earning, and spending, they can break down those big goals into smaller, more achievable steps. It's not just about, being rich. It's about giving them the power to achieve the things that matter most to them.
That's so empowering. And it all starts with giving them those financial literacy skills to navigate the world with confidence. This has been such an eye-opening conversation.
It really has. And all this talk about teaching kids about money has gotten me thinking about all the different approaches and resources that are out there. There are so many fun and engaging ways to teach these concepts to kids of all ages.
Maybe that's a topic for another deep dive. We could really dig into that.
I think that's a fantastic idea. There's definitely a lot to explore there.
And for all of you listening, think about how you can start incorporating some of these principles into your family's life. Maybe it's as simple as having a conversation about wants versus needs, or involving your kids in planning your next family outing. Even small steps can make a big difference in shaping their financial futures.
I completely agree. It's all about taking those small steps and building those good habits early on. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive, everyone.
And remember, we'll be back next week with another fascinating topic. Until then, keep those conversations going.